Good morning, sixth graders. Welcome to Spelling Lesson 30. This is the Spelling Vocab Week. And again, you're only going to have vocab tests in spelling. I'm not going to go back and do the weekly with the reading. And spelling's going to be a little heavier this week. I mean, not trying to make it heavier, but with the vocab built in, it's going to be more. So the first thing that you're going to have to do right through here is I'm expecting you for Thursday to have definitions of write out your vocabulary words, which are here. And again, this is right here. You're going to write out the words and their definitions for me to see in our chat group on Thursday. Okay, so again, you're going to the back of the book. You have it in your book, have all the words in the back of the book, and you're writing out the definition. And then you will show those to me on Thursday. That will be for a grade, another daily grade. So anyway, so the words for vocabulary are abruptly, disruption, revived, vivacious, duration, enduring, oppose, opposing, impractical, practice, inquisitive, requisition, projectile, subjection, impulse, propulsion, concern, discernment, introspective, and retrospect. So you'll have a spelling test covering all 20 words, and then you'll have a vocab test covering all 20 words. The vocab will be in a multiple choice format where I'll give the definition of the vocabulary word, and I will give different words. So you need to make sure you're familiar with your definitions. I would start working on those. All right, so that's for the vocabulary development. Now, also, the next part is we're going to go down and do the lesson portion. And for the lesson portions, we are going to be doing 117. Here's the pages. I'll have this up here. We're going to do page 117, 118, and 119 with some different directions a little bit, and I'm going to go through each part. So the first thing is it says, read lesson 25 pattern words. Read lesson 25 pattern words. Follow the directions given. All right, so if you take a look at lesson 25 pattern words, you have the words there that are in the first section up there. You have content words, vocabulary words, and then you have the pattern words. That's the very first column, so it is if I slide this down, let me just slide it down real quick, I'll show you. Here are the pattern words right here. All right, all the pattern words. So what you are going to do is you're going to follow the directions with some minor adjustments. Let me bring this up. What you are going to do, which on the computer, you're going to type out. So I'm looking for, you're not going to circle, you're not going to box, you're not going to make a dot, you're not going to place a star, you're not going to write out a check mark, and you're not going to underline, because we can't do that on the computer. So we're going to do all the same things for each one. So what you're essentially going to do is for number one, you're going to write out. I'm going to change all those directions to say write out. And that's what you're going to do on the computer. So for example, for the first one, I'm just going to do number one. It says write out words that contain the EM prefix. So in other words, a prefix. So I look in my listing and I see the EM. All right, I have two words. So I would type out the word embodied. And it's all going to be in one area. And so the potential to turn them around is a possibility. But what I'm asking you to do is to pay attention to put them in the order that they appear in the list. So if I take a look at the list, let me drag this down and I'll bring it back. So the first one I'd write out would be embodied and then embraced. Put them in that order. And how I would write it would be like this. I would write out embodied, comma, embraced. Then the computer will not make a mistake. You don't need to put a space in, just embodied, comma, embraced is all you got to do. And then the computer will not misread it. All right, and that's because I know that bothers some of you when the computer, I have it right, Mr. White, but the computer marked it wrong. You're right, it does. All right, so that would be the first one. That would be number 1. Okay, and I'll slide that back down for what it says. It says number 1, it says circle, but we didn't circle. We wrote out, and we wrote them out in the order they appeared, embodied and embraced. Okay, now, let's take a look at the second one. And again, we're not boxing. That's pretty good. We're not boxing. I'm just kidding. Anyway, we're not going to box the pattern words. We're using the prefix MID. And the number 3 is prefix ANTI, or anti, or prefix IN, prefix DIS, prefix IM. So what you're doing is you're writing those out in order of how they appear in the list, just like I said, with embodied and embraced. That's the first part. Okay, turning over to page 118. Okay, it says in the directions, read each word, decide if it's spelled correctly or incorrectly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type all these out. And what's going to happen is you're going to decide if it's correct or incorrect. You will not need to rewrite them a second time. But you will need to identify correct or incorrect. And it'll be a multiple choice. So if it's correct, you would fill in on the multiple choice deal, correct. If it's incorrect, you put incorrect. And it's just a matter of selecting on the computer. So again, you will not need to rewrite them out again. That's part of the reason why we're doing the vocabulary words the way we're doing them also. All right, now. All right, next part. Sliding down. And again, feel free to ask questions. All right, we're going to do this a little different. It says find the words in the crossword search. Circle them and write them on the lines. The words can go across, down, backwards. Some of the words share letters. Complete the sentence below by writing the remaining letters in the order that they appear. Now here's how I want you to write out the words. This last part here, complete the sentence below. We are not doing that. We're not doing that. That is gone. But what we are doing is, we are going to put these words that you find in alphabetical order. Okay? So alphabetical order. So the first word that I'm going to kind of slide this over here so you can see it a little better. All right, move it up. So again, we're not doing this bottom part. All right. So what we're going to do is you're going to write these in alphabetical order. So that means number 1, which you can barely see. Let's slide this up a little bit. And I'm going to do the first 2 with you, which means the first letter of the alphabet is A. And if you take a look, the A's that I have there, the choices I have are achievement, arrangement, and availability in the list. So this is, if you want to be technical, I'm going to look for a word that starts with an A here. All right, that's the first thing I'm going to do. All right, so I take a look around, and as I look through there, I'm looking for the very first word in the listing, because I have to find, I got to see, maybe they are, because if you notice, there's 10 blanks, there's 12 words. There's 10 blanks and 12 words. So I'm not going to tell you, but I will do the first one for you as far as setting that up. All right, so the very first word that I have is the word going to be the word arrangement. I believe, didn't we? Carrie, didn't we say that? Just a minute. Just a minute. I might have made a light error. No, achievement, excuse me. Not arrangement, achievement, because that was the first one. Achievement is right here. All right, so there's achievement. I circle it. Once I have it, I'm going to write it out. Achieveement. Achievement. I've written it out. Needs to be spelled correctly. 1 point for spelling, 1 point for the correct word in the correct order. So the very first word is achievement. All right, if I take a look at the next word I'm looking for is arrangement, if I can find it. If it's not there, then it's not one of the words. So arrangement, so I got to find it first, if it's here. All right, let me see. I think it's here. Oh, I found it. There it is, right below, spelled backwards. Arrangement. There's arrangement. So again, it goes on the next blank. Arrangement. All right, there is the setup of the words. There's the first two. I did the first two for you. They need to be alphabetized. That is the big key. Alphabetized. So I did the first two. And you just keep going all the way through 10. Using the words that they give you there on the bottom of page 18. And I check them off as you go. All right, last part. We have the last part, which is page 119. Okay? 119. I'll slide it up. All right, it says write out the words that are being defined. Write out the words that are being defined. And so basically what you're doing is they're asking you vocabulary. You may have to look these up and then write them out correctly here. All you're doing is just identifying the words. I will type out the information. Unlike anything else, you will decide what goes on the blank. You'll fill it in. Okay? Make sure you spell correctly. 1 point for spelling, 1 point for the correct word. Okay, so that is 1 through 11. Moving down to the next. Oh, you do not need to do number 12. So number 12, you don't need to do this. Okay, you don't need to do 12. Okay? Now, next part. We have the last part here, if I get over to it. All right, it says circle. Circle the R-controlled vowel spelling that completes each word. Write out each word. All I'm asking you to do is write out each word, spelled correctly. So in other words, we're not doing any circling. Okay? So we have this. Write each. So in other words, they're asking you to put whichever ending goes. So you got to look, compare to make sure you have the correct spelling. So the first one, you have the word downpour. Downpour. Okay, that is your first word. And so again, as you're looking at those are the ones. And again, they're in the left-hand side there of the selection. Next one, I'm not going to do, but again, identify, but there's no circling of anything. So again, R-controlled vowel spelling. They give you the R-controlled, but therefore, I'm not going to make you circle that in there just because you can't really do that on the computer. Okay. So again, we'll go through this and I'll make comments to this on Monday with you in your chat groups. And I'm going to emphasize you need to look at the YouTube video. So anyway, all right. I hope it all goes well. Thanks a lot.